Hi, ladies and gentlemen, this is Steve Harney with the October monthly market report for Keeping Current Matters. And we're going to start, as we always do, right with the news. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to give you a little bit of an update. The Wall Street Journal did a survey of economists and asked the question, when will the next recession begin? As you know, we want to keep you updated on that. We think that's going to be a big issue. We don't think the recession is going to cause much challenges in the market, but we are afraid it's going to cause concern in the market. Meaning, I don't think that the recession is going to be anything like 2008. Morgan Housel said it might be over before we realized it began. But I'm a little nervous about people panicking over it since there's so much talk to it, especially coming into a presidential election year. But the Wall Street Journal did survey over 36 economists, and we added their results to our chart, which you have right in front of you now. So we have four major surveys done by four major entities: the Pulsomic Survey, the Duke University Survey, the National Association of Business Economics Survey, and the Wall Street Journal Survey. So there it is. You have that there, as you can see, and we lumped it together on the next slide. The almost 47%, 46.9% think that the recession is going to occur before the end of next year, with another 28% saying it's going to occur sometime in 2021, and much of that was early 2021. So what we're talking about is in the next 18 to 24 months, the vast majority of those analysts and economists surveyed think we're going to come into an economic slowdown. Now remember, I always want you to include this slide. Every time I'm talking about the recession, I'm going to include this slide. You're going to get sick and tired of this slide. That's how many times we're going to include it. This is your home price change during the last five recessions. And obviously in 2008, the recession of 2008, prices dropped dramatically because the number one trigger of that recession was a housing crash, and the number two trigger was a mortgage market meltdown. So of course it impacted the housing industry because it was the housing industry that caused the recession. But if we look at the four of the five recessions prior to that, home values actually went up. And the only time they didn't, they went down by less than 2%. So we don't see prices dropping. If you have buyers, whether they be a first-time home buyer or a move-up buyer, that are waiting for prices to come tumbling down before they buy, let them know that's not happening. As a matter of fact, we have the projected home price percentage appreciation going forward by six major entities: the Home Price Expectation Survey, the Mortgage Bankers Association, Zelman & Associates, Freddie Mac, the National Association of Realtors, and Fannie Mae. And you can see that as far out as they project, some 4 years, most 2 years, as far as they project, they're still looking at appreciation. There are no red numbers there. So no one is projecting. Even those economists that said that there's an economic slowdown coming are not projecting that prices are going to be impacted to the level that they're going to start to depreciate. Appreciation has been decelerating, all right, meaning we aren't appreciating at the same levels we have over the last couple of years, but even that might change. Here's the forecasted year-over-year change in price by CoreLogic. Last year, the last 12 months, according to CoreLogic's, prices went up 3.6%. But they're projecting that over the next 12 months, and here's the breakdown by state, they're projecting that prices will go up 4.5%. So they're really seeing a re-acceleration of pricing. And I think that you're going to see in their next report that number is going to be over 5%. Again, there's a lack of inventory with interest rates being so low. Buyers are out there. So now that's the supply and demand situation again. Last winter, this time last year, last fall and winter, interest rates skyrocketed and more inventory was coming to the market. So the supply and demand kind of softened, and it became not yet a buyer's market, but a more normalized market. It looks like, at least in the lower price range, in the middle price range in most markets, we might be drifting back to a seller's market where prices will appreciate. The price appreciation will re-accelerate. But again, what I just told you, interest rates are dropping. Because whenever we talk about prices going up, there's going to be some group of buyers. And again, I'm not talking just about first-time home buyers. Even people that are thinking about putting their house on the market and buying their dream home, all right, they're going to worry when they hear prices are going up. All right, well, it doesn't make any sense to buy, all right, or I can't afford it. Understand that affordability is determined by three things. Price is definitely a major portion of that. Their ability to earn, meaning their wages, which are going up nicely now for the first time in decades, and also interest rates are part of that equation. And we see interest rates dropping, wages are going up. So even though home prices are going up, if we take a look at two reports that just came out, first the NAR report, they're now showing that the percentage of income needed to buy the medium-priced home, the percentage of medium-priced income needed to buy a medium-priced home is down to 15.7%. That's from last year this time, it was 18.2%. And the norm is 21.2%, the historic norm. So it's much more affordable to purchase a house, again, taking everything into consideration, the price, the mortgage rate, and wages. It's much more affordable to purchase a house now than it was in the past. As a matter of fact, CoreLogic actually breaks it down by the typical mortgage payment. So what they do, they adjust for inflation, and they look at the mortgage payment buyers commit to. And what you can see here, ladies and gentlemen, is that right now that number, the last numbers they have is June. That's the most recent report that just came out, but there are June numbers. The June numbers show that the typical mortgage payment is $878. That's less than it was last June, and it was less than it was in January of 2000. So what we're looking at is that, again, it's more affordable to purchase a home now than it was before the boom and the bust. And as far as next year is concerned, it's going to tick up some, but still, that typical mortgage payment is going to be less money than it was in June of 2018 and, again, in January 2000. So what are we saying? Prices are going up, but because interest rates are coming down or staying down and wages are going up, what we can see is we're in good shape from an affordability standpoint. Don't let people think the other way. Frank Nordoff, the chief economist for CoreLogic, because when they're purchasing a home, one of the major benefits is home equity. Borrower equity rose to an all-time high in the first half of 2019 and has more than doubled since the housing recovery started. Combined with low mortgage rates, the rise in home equity supports spending on home improvements and may help improve balance sheets of households who could take out home equity loans to consolidate their debt. And there's no question about that. They might be consolidating some of the debt to help their children out with their student loans. But also with home equity being, increasing so dramatically, people have that down payment in their existing home to move up to the home of their dreams, and that's important. Now, again, let's take a look at home equity by state. And what we can see, ladies and gentlemen, that across the country, there were only 3 states that didn't see a major increase in home equity, or actually saw a loss of equity. That was North Dakota, Connecticut, and Delaware. Now, North Dakota, that's very tied into the energy situation. Connecticut, because of the SALT tax adjustments, they were probably, especially Western Connecticut, was affected rather dramatically on that. And we're not really sure what happened in Delaware. We'll keep an eye on that as we move forward. But in the other 47 states, home equity did increase, and in some states rather dramatically over a 12-month period. You have in Idaho $22,000. You have in Wyoming $20,000. Remember, when you're renting, you don't get that home equity. And again, we're projecting prices to go up, as we mentioned before. Here's the home price expectation survey, and they're not looking at the 6 and 7 and 8% appreciation that we've seen over the last couple of years, but there's still appreciation. There's no red bars. But even if we take that very conservative estimate as appreciation and apply it to somebody who purchased a home, say January of this year coming up, all right, or January of this year coming up, what we can see is that over the 5 years, just taking into the consideration those that very conservative increase in prices, the home equity growth, the wealth in that family will grow by $37,750. So even though prices are moderately appreciating, it means that families are building wealth. Even with that moderate adjustment, again, families are building wealth to the tune of almost $40,000. And let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, what the alternative is. Even with prices going up, let's take a look at median asking rent since 2010. And what we can see there, ladies and gentlemen, is it is increasing rather dramatically from just under $700 to over $1,000 in that period of time. So what we're looking at is the fact that they can either build equity or not build equity. And from the financial, standpoint, owning a home is so much more powerful for a family. But a new survey just came out, and I think it's important that we take a look at that. This is the Concentrix Analytics survey. They didn't look for the financial benefits of home ownership. They asked about the non-financial benefits of home ownership. And this is what the survey found. 93% of homeowners said owning a home made them happier. 88% agreed that buying a home is the best decision they ever made. And 79% believed owning a home has changed them for the better. Just think about that, ladies and gentlemen. All right? These are the non-financial advantages of home ownership. And what we can see, in a very big way, is that those advantages really change people's lives. As I've always told you, we don't list and sell houses for a living. We change people's lives for a living. The way we do that is list and sell houses. But here's a survey done by homeowners showing the non-financial benefits, and let's get those out also. And putting all of that together, we understand now why millennials are now running into the market. As a matter of fact, 26% of millennials expressed an interest in buying a home in the next 12 months. 1 out of 4 millennials are expressing an interest in buying a home in the next year. Let's help them as much as we possibly can. And we're going to have to do that, ladies and gentlemen, by listing properties. New construction is not keeping up with the household formation. As a matter of fact, Ms. Kushi, the deputy chief economist at First American, said this: new household formation is expected to grow as more millennials enter their prime home buying years, and baby boomers are living longer and more independently than ever. For more than a decade, home building has not kept up with the demand for shelter, creating a housing supply deficit that will prove difficult to reduce significantly. Meaning they're not building enough houses for the household formation. We have to go out there and list properties. Existing home sales is the answer to that. And the challenge with that is, if we take a look at it, the month's inventory of homes for sale, which had been building, going into the spring, into the summer, and seemed like, all right, we're in pretty good shape with that, are now falling. The month's supply is going down. Again, that's part of the reason we're going to see now a resurgence in appreciation. Because again, it's all about supply and demand. Now, it's not going down dramatically, but we have to turn that back around again because it's crucially important to us. All right, we have to list properties. That's got to be something we're going to be concentrating on over the next few editions of the monthly market report. And it's important that we do that. As always, we gave you every single resource. We broke it down for you so that you have that situation. In case anyone asks you a question, especially when it comes to the recession, because there's going to be a lot of banter about, where is the economy right now? Half the country is going to say it's about to fall apart and the president did a horrible job, and the other half of the country is going to say this is the best economy we've seen maybe in its history, and it's definitely the longest recovery we've seen in American history. And they're going to battle back and forth. That battling back and forth for political agenda is going to cause some confusion in the market. It's going to cause confusion with your buyers and sellers. If you make a strong statement about what's going to take place when or if a recession does occur, you need to be able to back that up. So every single slide we're backing up, but we know you're going to need that on the recession stuff. So always make sure you know what the resource pages and what's available there.